We are 5 weeks into the season, and the NFL continues to be as unpredictable as ever. We have no more undefeated teams, some crazy upsets, and it still remains to be seen as who are the contenders and the pretenders across the league. But that is what we're going to try to figure out for you guys today on VinCon Sports Talk, episode number 61, where we will be recapping every single game of week number 5. My name is Vinny, as always, joined by my very good friend and my partner, Connor Swanson. Connor, week 5, more unpredictability, more crazy outcomes. I'm excited to talk about it, break it down with you today. So, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, you mentioned it. A lot of crazy games. And when we looked at the slate, I know we didn't record a preview episode, but just looking at the slate and talking about it, only 14 games, right? Four teams on bye. And then the 1 o'clock window, really wasn't anything special. We didn't see many good games in there, like before the week, right? We didn't think there were gonna be many good games. And then, you know, we watched the games, there's some upsets, some crazy things happen. So it turned into probably what was a better weekend than what, maybe we initially thought it was going to be based on the matchups we saw. So, I mean, that's always good, right? That's good for football. It's good for us on here being able to talk about more than just, they won by this score to this score and it was a very boring game. There's more to talk about, makes it more exciting for the listeners for sure. So, but yeah, I'm feeling good, ready to get into it here.
Yeah, ready to get into it. And we know the new format we do. We're going to talk about the most exciting games with the biggest storylines first, and we actually have four of them this week
Yep.
because I didn't feel right leaving one of these four games out of the main segment here. So we have two each. Connor, why don't we start with you with a big NFC battle out in Seattle?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
shoot,
yeah.
that rhyme. How about
Oof.
that?
You should be a rapper. All right. So
Had to-
definitely not a rapper, but, yeah, we start with the NFC West matchup here with the Bucks and the Seahawks. Or no, sorry, scratch that. It's the Bucks and the Seahawks. I keep doing this. Bucks and Seahawks, all right, in Seattle. You mentioned you got me in the West Coast, I was thinking it, but the Bucks win this one 38-35, right? It was a very close game, and we have breaking news. Bengals just traded for Joe Flacco, so,
Oh,
that's cool,
like
that's
right now.
cool. Right right
Okay.
now, we just got that news, so,
Um,
not as cool as Micah Parsons, well, but that's pretty big. Why don't we take, like, a minute to talk about that?
They could have done better than that. I think there's better quarterbacks on the market, backup quarterbacks on the market that could. But I mean, still, it's better than what they got. So maybe the Bengals will be salvaged slightly. Maybe they'll just be more competitive now. I don't know.
I mean,
That's a
I
weird
think
one.
I think that's good for them, though. I think that's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
better than
definitely
Jake
good.
Browning. It's good for Jamar Chase fantasy owners, good
100%.
for T. Higgins fantasy owners.
Yeah, I would have very much rather Jameis Winston or Kirk Cousins though.
Yeah.
That's just
I
me.
mean,
But I don't know. That obviously it's hard to make trades happen like that in the middle of the season. So,
all right, well, we'll
um,
talk more about that when we get to their game, but yeah, so
okay.
Joe Flacco traded to the Bengals on the air. We've had some good trades this year on the air. Anyways,
Just
back
yeah.
to the Bucks and Seahawks, all right? Officially now. It was a game that kind of was lost because of one crucial turnover at the end of the game. It was a tie game. Seahawks had the ball late in the game, and Sam Darnold, he actually should have been picked off before for a pick six. He threw it on an out route to Cooper Kupp. It got deflected by a Bucks defender. Cooper Kupp was able to catch it off the deflection and get a first down. But then, in the following sequence, Sam Darnold interception, and the Bucks were able to run the clock down and kick a game-winning field goal as time expired. So Bucks win it 38-35, moving themselves to 4-1. Vinny, this is a team that, I mean,
Yeah.
very very good record, right? And they haven't necessarily done it in a convincing way. In their four wins, they've won by a combined total of 9 points,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, this is kind of what we saw from the Chiefs last year, right? Where you're winning all these games, even with the Vikings too. They won a lot of close games. Um, is this sustainable? Like before we get into the stats, I'm asking you, like, is winning by this close of margin sustainable for a team like the Bucks?
Well, I mean, you want to say no because we've seen this before with the Chiefs. We've seen it with the Vikings, teams that I've openly said that I don't think are convincing. I mean, Tampa's won all of their games on game-winning drives, which
Yeah,
is, I mean, a pretty crazy. I mean, they could easily be 0-5 right now.
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
think about that. So, yeah, is it sustainable? I don't think so. But at the same time, they have one of the most clutch players in the league with Baker Mayfield. He's got it done every single time. So, yeah, I do. If they know how to win in the big situations, if they know how to perform in these clutch situations, then maybe it is sustainable. But
Mm.
I want to see the Bucks, blow out a team. I really, that's what I want to see because we haven't seen it yet. So,
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, and not even to mention that, Mike Evans isn't here right now. Bucky Irving wasn't in this game, so we're gonna get Evans back, we're gonna get Bucky Irving back, and then you're gonna have the three-headed monster of Igbuka, Godwin, and Evans all healthy, all playing, and then, of course, Bucky Irving back playing as well with them. So maybe this isn't sustainable, but maybe this is a team that can go out there and start getting more convincing wins as opposed to winning by one possession or a couple points. So stat wise, very efficient game from both quarterbacks. I'll start with that. Baker Mayfield, 29 of 33, so only four completions, 379 passing yards, and two passing touchdowns. Rashad White, I mentioned Bucky Irving did not play in this game. Rashad White was 14 carries for 41 yards, got in the end zone twice. Not much in the receiving game, which normally is what he's known for, but he gets those two touchdowns on the ground, and that kind of saves his day for fantasy. Emeka Egbuka, man. This guy is
Yeah.
making a great case for rookie of the year, at least offensive rookie of the year. He had 7 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown. He has been incredible this season. As for the Seahawks, again, very efficient from Sam Darnold, 28 of 34, only 6 incompletions. Of course, one of those was a very costly interception late in the game. But besides that, 341 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. His best game of the season by far. Kenneth Walker had 81 rushing yards. Charbonnet gets the touchdown. We've seen that story over and over again
Mhm.
this year. So maybe your Kenneth Walker fantasy manager's got to start worrying a little more here if Zach Charbonnet keeps getting those red zone carries. As for the receiving game, JSN continues to be great. Catches 132 yards and a touchdown. And then how about AJ Barner? All right, the tight end, 7 catches for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
Yeah,
good day for him. But yeah, I
been
mean,
good.
said at the start, Vinny, turnovers cost the Seahawks in this game. They also had a fumble from Jalen Milrow. They had a Jalen Milrow package. He ran like a speed option, tried to pitch it to Kenneth Walker. Pitch was slightly behind him. Kenneth Walker couldn't get it. They turned the ball over there, and then of course the Darnold pick. So 2 turnovers, kind of a big reason why the Seattle Seahawks lose this game. But I'm not too worried about the Seahawks, Vinny. I don't know your thoughts on them. I know you haven't always been the highest on them, but I know we both did pick the Seahawks in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was I only picked the Seahawks because of the Bucks injuries on offense here. I would have picked the Bucks otherwise, but hey, I mean, it's a great game. I'm not really concerned about Seattle. I still don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to be in a lot of games, but I'm not sold on them 100% just because I feel like they have the potential to be very inconsistent. And Sam Darnold, I mean, he can go out there and throw 350 yards like he did in this game. I feel like he also could go out there and throw 190 yards and no touchdowns in any given week as well.
Yep.
We haven't necessarily seen that side of him yet, so I guess it's kind of unfair to say, but yeah, I mean, I think the Seahawks are still they're going to be around 500, maybe 9 wins. But it was a good game for them still. And poor Milrow, man. I mean, some of the only work you're going to get this year, most likely, barring an injury, go out there fumble. I mean, that's not a good thing. So
Yep.
unfortunate, but hey, good win for the Bucks. Another great win for the Bucks down the stretch here.
Yeah.
And just a crazy high scoring game. So really good stuff there. You ready? We ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
We go with that one. Okay, so I had to sneak this one into the game of the week because it was one of the most I elated. I will just say just ecstatic, elated, all the synonyms for happy, joyful I've ever been watching a football game in at least a couple years. So the Pats and the Bills, right? Sunday night football, a game that even Patriots fans, even the most optimistic of Patriots fans, did not give us much
No.
of a chance
No.
to win this game. In fact, on the schedule, as a Pats fan myself, looking at the schedule, I thought this was the one game that we had no chance of winning. Um, and what do? We go out there and we get it done. 23-20 win over the Buffalo Bills. I mean, just an incredible performance by the second year quarterback, Drake May. 273 yards, 22 for 30. Just extremely efficient again, taking care of the football again. But he was the only one to take care of the football in this game because there was quite a lot of fumbles. Ramondre Stevenson, we know the story with him, has had the fumble issues worse than maybe anyone in the league the past year into this year. He gets the fumble early, and I'm thinking, all right, no way that we do not see more Travion Henderson. But Ramondre did keep his role. He wasn't benched or anything after that, and he did get 2 touchdowns. So still played a big part of the game. Mike Vrabel, as a coach, is the type of guy to motivate
Yep.
and say, hey, like, you're still an important part of this team. Like, we need you out there. So, I mean, it worked out great for the Pats, and Stevenson still had a good game. I mean, the story of this game for the Pats side is the offense, Stephon Diggs. We haven't had a receiver performance like this in such a long time. 10 receptions, 146 yards. I mean, he was just getting peppered in the passing game, kind of
Yep.
like a Puka Nakua light. Just every target was going to Stephon Diggs. So just a really good game plan for the Pats. They were in the game the whole time, competitive, were able to pull away at the end. Andy Borgalis, Automatic Andy, as I like to say, coming through with the game-winning field goal. Just a great story there. I think from Miami. He was the kicker for Miami last year, so a rookie. So great stuff there. And then the Pats defense, another great story in this game, keeping the Bills in check, which is not very easy to do that.
Not at all.
Josh Allen, I mean, still had 250 yards passing, a touchdown, did have a pick, a costly pick in the red zone at the end of the game that pretty much sealed the deal for the Pats. And we're going down to get the field goal there. James Cook has been absolutely electric all year. Did not much in this game. 49 yards on the ground. Did not get in the end zone. It was really just Dalton Kincaid with 108 receiving yards was the only notable performance for the Buffalo Bills
Yep.
on offense. We saw a huge fumble by Keon Coleman. We saw Keon Coleman did not play in the first quarter for disciplinary reasons or something like that. A guy who
Yeah.
we both thought was going to break out this year, especially after that first game, has not done much. Khalil Shakir didn't do much. So, I mean, the passing game for the Bills is really it's not that special to me. It's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen's show, and when Josh Allen, I mean, even he had a good game. He has still had a good game in this game, but that's that one turnover. If he throws a turnover, then the Bills are kind of not in a great
Yeah.
spot because you don't have a lot of playmakers on that team that are in that elite level. In fact, you have none that are in the elite level, in my opinion. So yeah, a little concerning loss for the Bills, but for the Patriots, man, I mean, what a win! What a win for this organization. Just after years of being bullied by Buffalo, I mean, decades of bullying Buffalo. Let's just put it that way first. We don't want to. I don't want to act like I'm like not spoiled growing up as a Patriots fan. We destroyed Buffalo my whole childhood, but the past 5 years they've beaten us every time. Besides that stupid win at the end of last season with Joe Milton, that was ridiculous. But um, I mean, a big game against Buffalo in that environment, the whiteout, it was a crazy atmosphere.
Yep.
Going in there with that noise level, that's just crazy vibe, and going in and winning, it is such a statement win for the Patriots. And the schedule is extremely advantageous for them moving forward. You have the Saints and the Titans the next 2 weeks, so if you take care of business against those teams, the Patriots, you're looking at 5-2,
Yeah. And
and
I think the Browns
it,
are coming up, right, too. So I
the
mean,
Browns, yeah, the Browns are on the horizon, and I mean you're gonna have the Jets twice. You're gonna have the Dolphins again. Those both those teams look atrocious right now. The Patriots are in a great spot, Connor. What do you like? What do you think as
no,
a non-biased fan?
I mean, this is obviously a huge statement win, right? You finally see this is kind of the first game where we've seen Stephon Diggs look healthy, right? It's the first game we saw him come back. He was coming back from that injury, and the start of the year, wasn't playing every snap, wasn't doing a whole much in the receiving game. But this game, you knew he was going to come up big for this game, right? It's against the Bills. No love lost there between the two sides. And he came out and he looked like his old self, and he balled out, had a ton of targets, ton of catches. I think I talked to you about it. There was a play late in the game where Drake May connected with Stephon Diggs, which kept the drive alive basically when it could have been a sack. Drake May was able to get away and
Yeah,
find Diggs. So overall, I mean, this is a Patriots team that I think should be in the playoffs now. Like as you mentioned it, like
yeah,
they're 3-2. They have a very favorable schedule coming up. I think the next 4 weeks are all pretty favorable. So if you're sitting at 7-2, I mean, and that you still have another game against the Jets, like you mentioned, Dolphins. So they're in a good spot. I'll leave it at
yeah.
that. They're in a very good spot. With the way they've played so far, I think they should be in the playoffs based on their schedule.
I agree with you 100%, and I had them just missing the playoffs. If you saw our preview, I think I had them as the first team out.
Yep.
But winning a game like this, they are not supposed to win, can help you
Yeah.
move into that playoff hunt,
And it
especially
boosts morale so much.
exactly.
The team starts to think
Just
we can instead of, we're still fighting for it. They believe it
yeah,
now.
yeah, just an incredible win, incredible performance. The best Patriots win in the post Tom Brady era, in my opinion, and a lot of others' opinion. And
Yep.
with that, the Bills are the last undefeated team to fall. So there will not be a 5-0 team in the NFL this year. First time, and I don't know, I forgot the exact year, but it's been a really long time since there hasn't been a 5-0 team through 5 weeks. So
Yep.
Patriots are the last team to get it done, knock off that last of the undefeated. Another team that was undefeated and lost on Sunday are the Philadelphia Eagles. So I know you were very happy about this outcome here, Connor. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, Denver, the Broncos, Bo Nix, all those guys, they travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles in what's a very tough environment over there in Philly. And the Broncos, they pull it out. And it wasn't really like too much of a special game. Nothing really crazy happened. Broncos win at 21-17 though. And the thing that, kind of surprised me was all year, right? People have been complaining about the Eagles running the ball, not throwing it. And the Eagles apparently said, okay, we've had enough of the complaining because
Yeah.
they did the exact opposite in this game. They only gave Saquon Barkley 6 carries in the entire
Yeah.
game. And
Shocking.
I 6 carries if you're losing, all right, like, maybe there's an argument, but it's still Saquon Barkley. He should still have 10 carries even if you're losing, right? And to make it worse, the Eagles were up 21-3 in this game. How do you not give Saquon the ball more when you're up 21-3? Like, that's what the Eagles are. They run the ball to try and run the clock out. Like, what are you doing? And I think maybe we're kind of hypocrites now because, yes, we've been calling for the Eagles to pass the ball, and now we're saying, why aren't you running the ball? Which, it's kind of hypocritical in a way, but 6 carries for Saquon is just ridiculous. And
Right.
I don't understand this such an extreme shift in the play calling. Um, I think I said this to you yesterday. Maybe it was we're trying to prove something to our fans that we shouldn't be passing the ball every single time and that we should run the ball. But I mean, that's just petty. That's even worse if that's the case. So
Yeah. That's
Eagles, I don't like how they handled this game. For the Broncos, they played fantastic. Defense balled out. And
yeah.
Bo Nix was 24-39, 242 yards, got a touchdown. Started off very slow, but he picked things up as the game went on, which is what you need to see. J.K. Dobbins against a difficult front seven for this Eagles defense. He has 79 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. And of course, Cortland Sutton doing Cortland Sutton things, 8 catches for 99 yards, 1 yard short of that 100-yard mark. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 23-38, 280 yards. Did have 2 passing touchdowns, which is, kind of in relation to what we're talking about here with how much they threw the ball. I mean, you hear 38 pass attempts for Jalen Hurts, and you think, what world are we living in? Because we don't see that all too often. Saquon, again, 6 carries for 30 yards. Did have 3 catches for 58 yards and a receiving touchdown, which saves his fantasy day. But when you're talking about him as a true rusher, 6 carries for 30 yards isn't cutting it for him. And then Devonta Smith, the only receiver who really did anything, 8 catches for 114 yards. I mean, this is funny to me because AJ Brown still did not do anything.
No.
He had 5 catches for like 43 yards when Jalen Hurts threw the ball 38 times. So if you're the Eagles and you're going to throw the ball 38 times, AJ Brown needs to have at least like 8 catches, 9 catches, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to think about who was on AJ Brown for a lot of
Yes.
this game too. So that's one thing. But I mean, the Eagles, Philly, they have an identity crisis right now. They're just they they're 4-1. They're still in a great spot, but they've just looked so like blah, like unconvincing this year. And it's just really confusing how we're gonna completely switch gears
Yeah.
on their game plan on offense and start throwing it constantly when you have one of the best secondaries in the NFL coming to town. I understand if you were playing the Bengals, okay, or the Jaguars or one of these teams. Well, I shouldn't disrespect the Jaguars. Their defense has been pretty good, but like like the Panthers or like one of these teams that you could just throw the ball
Yeah.
constantly on. When the Broncos come into town, like this is what we're gonna start to do this. So I mean, for Philly, they deserved to lose this game because they were just acting strange. It was just making me frankly uncomfortable, to be honest. It's just very weird.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have a guy like Saquon Barkley, like 6 carries is absurd. I mean, you have backup running backs getting more than 6 carries in NFL games these days.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you're in a competitive game like they it's not like they were down 20 at any point and had to only throw it.
No.
Like yeah, I'm happy they started to throw the ball more because it's just more exciting. It's more entertaining. But yeah, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if they were trying to prove it to their fans. That would be a little bit weird if that's the
Yeah.
case.
I'd agree.
But bad bad week for Philly and for Philly in general. You have this game was a bad loss. You have the Phillies getting destroyed by the Dodgers, and then Penn State losing to UCLA on Saturday. So, um, for you Philly people, I apologize.
Rough week.
You've seen better days for sure.
Yep.
Promise you, basketball or hockey season isn't going to make you much happier either.
But I'm
But
happy. I'm happy that the Eagles lost. Okay, I've picked the
yeah,
Broncos, or I've picked the Eagles to lose 3 out of the 5 weeks so far. And
yeah,
it should have honestly happened at least twice, including this week. So I thought the Rams definitely should have beaten them. And then the Chiefs
yeah,
game, of course, was kind of up in the air. But I'm glad that the Eagles finally lost. I don't think they deserve to be 5-0 with the way they've looked this year. We mentioned them being up 21-3 in this game. The collapses they've had, or
yeah,
have been or
Yeah.
17-3, sorry, 17-3, not 21-3, 17-3. The collapses they've had have been ridiculous this year. We saw it in this game
Yeah.
where they let the Broncos come all the way back, down 14. We saw it in the Rams game where they let the Rams get out to a crazy lead. And then we saw it in the
Mhm.
Buccaneers game when they are up huge and they let the Bucks get
Yeah.
back into the game. Thankfully, they were able to hold on in that game, but the Bucks, I mean, they made it a close game when it never should have been. So the Eagles, they have a lot of problems right now. If they keep playing the way they are not going to be in that Super Bowl again this year. I do not think. They have a lot to work on. I'm
Yeah.
confident they will work on it. And I think they will solve their identity crisis, as you pointed out. But definitely interested to see what coming weeks look like for this Philadelphia Eagles football team.
Got the Giants on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, you got
That game
Giants
might be a
twice in the
little
next 3 weeks.
closer. Yeah, that game might be a little closer than we think initially. So that'll be interesting. But I mentioned 4 games of the week this week. That we have the last one here, and I had to throw this one in to this segment at the last minute because it was such a
Yeah,
phenomenal game. That's last night's game, Monday Night Football between the Chiefs and the Jags. A game that I mean, we both looked at it before the season started. At the primetime schedule, it's like, okay, like this is only in prime time because of Kansas City.
yep.
Jacksonville's kind of they're getting lucky. They're getting their primetime game because they're playing the Chiefs, whatever. The Jags and their fans came through in a great atmosphere over down there in Jacksonville and Duval and taking away the win versus Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs 31-28. Trevor Lawrence was good. And this is just not something we've seen from him very often. He had 221 yards, a touchdown, had an interception. Okay, when we were watching it live, the interception looked awful. Apparently, there was a pass interference controversy there that did not get called. That's why he was complaining so
Yeah,
much.
I
So
think we were too caught up in the fact that it looked like the worst throw of all time that we
yeah,
we didn't even hear the pass
so
interference thing.
yeah, we weren't listening to the broadcast. We were just screaming of how bad it was. Um, Patrick Mahomes though, he throws 318 yards. So the Chiefs are, I mean, they were kind of in that conservative, offense, kind of checkdowns, running the ball for a while, and now they're starting to throw it a lot. And he has 318 yards, a touchdown. He had a pick. That was a bad play. But also a very good play by the linebacker Devin Lloyd, who took it back for 99 yards for a pick six, completely flipped the game on its head. I believe it was tied at this point,
Yeah,
and
the Chiefs
Jacksonville took it back. Yeah, the Chiefs
Chiefs
were
would
about
have
to take the lead.
scored. Yeah.
They were, they were at the 5 yard line. They were close to scoring. 99-yard pick six for a linebacker. None of the Chiefs' fast wide receivers, Tyquan Thornton. I'm looking at you. He was on the chase, could get him. So a great play by Devin Lloyd. Had 2 phenomenal games in a row. He's looking like the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL as of now, 5 weeks in. Um, Brian Thomas, I mean, only 4 catches. He had a big play in the last drive to set up the Jags to win. But he has 80 yards on 4 catches, so his best performance of the year so far. Brenton Strange's been a big part of the offense. He left the game very early on with an
He
injury,
did.
so
Yeah.
unfortunate. Um, as for the Chiefs, Travis Kelsey, he has a pretty Travis Kelsey like game, 7 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown. And Tyquan Thornton leads the team with 90 yards, only on 3 catches. I mean, that guy's always down the field somewhere. I mean, he's like Walmart Tyreek Hill on the
Yeah.
Chiefs offense, I guess. But good for him. Good for him. Former Patriot, kind of missed potential there, so he's getting it done with Kansas City. Trevor Lawrence, biggest play of this game. They go down the field. They need a touchdown, and they get their touchdown on just a crazy play where it was going to be most likely a play action, a play fake to ETN, and Lawrence falls. He just trips, and no one touches him somehow. The Chiefs, I mean, they said on the post game that's not a defensive line you want to fall in behind
No,
because
they're gonna
they're
get to
they're
you.
pretty they're pretty intimidating. I mean, you got Chris Jones there. No one could get to him. He gets up and runs the football into the end zone himself. An absolutely unreal play. Just one of the just most shocking plays of the year. Just watching it in live time. Just unbelievable stuff there. And that ends up winning the game. So really, clutch improv there from Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence and getting the Jaguars to win. They're 4-1, Matt. I mean, they're in a dogfight with the Indianapolis Colts. Who would have thought 5 weeks in
Not
that that
us.
would be the case? In the AFC South. I mean, you have Houston. We'll talk about them later on. They get 2 wins in a row. They're coming. But for now, I mean, the Jags and the Colts both look great in the AFC South. So we'll see what ends up happening there. For the Chiefs, they are under 500. Again, they fall to 2-3. This is a bad loss for them. Um, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from this one from last night?
Both teams looked good, honestly. They really did, and I think the the pick six changed the whole game, right?
Yeah.
That's not a situation where you're used to seeing Mahomes throw a pick. He didn't even see. It's because they played it well. Devin Lloyd initially came up to the line, looked like he was going to rush, and then he dropped into coverage. And Mahomes wasn't. He was looking the other way, right? He was looking towards Juju coming in on the in route, and Lloyd kind of drifted back right into that and took it to the house. So it's not like you can blame Mahomes for that. He didn't see him. He thought it was blitzing. It's a good play by the defense. But that really did give this game to the Jaguars because the Chiefs were going to
Mhm.
score, they were going to take a lead, and the momentum would be completely with them. But instead, it flips to the Jags. They have all the momentum in the world. But you know what? You got to give props to Trevor Lawrence. He had a fantastic game. He put his team on his back here big time. A lot of rushing from him this game, which I think
Yeah.
not necessarily his biggest thing normally, right? We saw it in college, but in the NFL hasn't really been a big part of his game. But he does it here, and he carves up the Chiefs on the ground, and he makes it happen. They get the win. So huge game for the Jags, huge win for them. They go to 4-1. Chiefs fall to 2-3. Still, they're going to be a team that's going to be competing for the division because that's just what happens, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But they'll find a way to be in that battle with the Broncos,
Well,
who had a big upset. The Chargers just had a loss. We'll get to that. So that division, I think, is still up in the air, even though they're under 500 right now.
for sure. Both quarterbacks led their team in rushing, by the way, which for the Chiefs we've seen quite a lot. For the Jags, that's kind of surprising. Travis Etienne was kind of held in check.
Yeah,
The
they
Chiefs
shut
did a
him
good
down.
job there.
Yeah.
So and the Chiefs running backs are on a different planet this whole year. So yeah, really exciting game there. Four really exciting games that we just mentioned, but we're gonna get now to what we call the best of the rest. Okay, we have a couple games here, not as exciting, but still some pretty notable storylines. So
Yep.
we're gonna have to go back to Thursday night football for another very surprising outcome and a shocking upset here.
Yeah, the 49ers and the Rams, a big matchup here. We had two NFC West battles on Thursday night, 2 weeks in a row. So kind of surprising there by the NFL schedule makers. But, makes for some entertaining football. Mac Jones, okay, he's the story of the game.
Mhm.
Brock Purdy played last week, couldn't go in this one. Mac Jones comes in 33 of 49, 342 yards, and two passing touchdowns. This guy was incredible. Okay. Uh, he kind of looked better than Purdy, right? Purdy hasn't looked all that good this year, and I know he's been dealing with some injuries, but last week he looked terrible. Start of the year, he wasn't anything special. Mac Jones, we saw it with Jacksonville last year. He just made that team better. We're seeing it now where the offense just looks explosive. And this is a game
Mhm.
where obviously you don't have Ayuk, obviously you don't have Kittle, but you also don't have Pearsall, you also don't have Jennings, right? And he made it happen with a guy that you know and love, Vinny, Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne
Mhm.
goes out there and
Yeah,
gets 10 catches for 142 yards. Of course, CMC is still there. That helps. He had 57 rushing yards, then added 8 catches, 82 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. For the Rams, it wasn't a bad game. They were very much in this one. Stafford, 30 of 47, 389 yards and three touchdowns. That's just a fantastic stat line. Kyron Williams had 65 rushing yards, and both running backs had a fantastic day in the receiving game. Kyron had 8 catches for 66 yards and two receiving touchdowns. Of course, right, the offense is concentrated heavily between Kyron, Devontae, and Puka. So Devontae had 5 catches for 88 yards, and Puka had 10 for 85. Puka gets the touchdown. But big storyline here, Rams had two fumbles. Kyron fumbled and Matthew Stafford fumbled. They lost both of them. So in a game that goes to overtime where you know, you lose in overtime, turnovers in regulation are kind of what cost you the game here. And a big thing for me, I was very mad because I had the Rams to win this game, but that was the least of my concerns, right? It was the fact that it's a 4th and 1 in overtime, and you're going for it. I understand you have Kyron. He's very good at those short yardage plays. You have Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, one of the best releases in the NFL, and Puka Nacua, who seems to always be open. I think you got to throw the ball. They ran it on 3rd down, didn't get it. You can't. I don't think you can go back to the well on 4th. I think you have to go to the air on 4th and 1. I don't like the play call by Sean McVay. Sean McVay took responsibility. He said it was a bad play call. Set his team up for failure. He said, but that play alone, you throw the ball, I'd imagine one of Devontae or Puka is winning off the line. So,
yeah,
I just like the chances passing a little more. I don't know your thoughts on it, Vinny, but yeah, that's my take on that.
yeah. Definitely want to pass there. You have some of the best receivers in the NFL. Very shocking, very shocking outcome here. And I'll be totally honest. I mean, this was the same time as the Red Sox Yankees game three, so I didn't catch much of that. I actually only saw overtime of this game. But turning the game on and seeing that it was so close and seeing the stats here was absolutely shocking. Good for Mac Jones. I'm happy. I'm happy that Mac Jones, in his two roles as a backup last year in Jacksonville and this year, he's actually gone out there and proven that he is pretty serviceable. And I mean, it's another guy I think might be worthy of a starting job. I don't think that's that crazy to
Yeah,
say
no, not at all.
after the couple performances he's put together this year and last year. So good for him. Good for Kendrick Bourne. You have the former Patriots connection there, so it's good to see that. And as for the Rams, yeah, I mean they played good in this game. It seems like just a couple bad decisions, and a couple bad plays with the fumbles there cost them a win here. But we mentioned the Niners, you know, even with the injuries, they're a team that can go out there and win any given week just because of the coaching and the roster
Yep.
construction, and just they can get it done. So it's tough to bet against the Niners, but I was pretty heavy on the Rams in this game, and they couldn't get it done for us.
Question,
So
Vinny. Question. Before we move
yeah,
on, are the
yeah,
Rams still the favorite in the division?
yeah,
Right. This
yeah,
game
they
doesn't
are.
change that for you. All right. I
No,
agree.
it
I agree.
doesn't. I I don't I don't think the Niners this performance is sustainable, and I also think it's not wild to say when Brock Purdy comes back, they're going to be different. I mean, we saw Brock Purdy's performance the week before against Jacksonville; it just didn't look good.
No.
So yeah, if Brock Purdy can play up to this level, and Ayuk and Kittle return, and Pearsall and Jennings and just their whole team, if they come back, then the Niners, yeah, they have a chance. But the Rams are the better football team in my opinion. They are still the favorite for sure.
Cool.
All right. So we move on to Sunday morning, some Sunday morning football here. Another game involving the Minnesota Vikings playing two straight games in Europe. I said that weird. Europe? Europe? I don't know. Europe, not Europe. Europe. Playing across the pond. We'll say that.
Yeah,
That's not
that's
hard to
better.
say.
Not Europe.
Um, not that. So they played in Ireland last week. They played in London this week. They play the Browns. And the Vikings do take away the victory against the Cleveland Browns, 21-17. Carson Wentz had a little bit of a injury scare in this game, but he ended up playing the whole game. 236 yards and a touchdown. Took care of the football. Really good stuff there. The Browns sending out their rookie, one of their rookies, Dylan Gabriel here for the first time in his NFL career. His first start played really well, 19 for 33. He had two touchdowns. I didn't put the yardage in here, but by accident. But I know he didn't have over 200, but still effective performance from Dylan Gabriel for sure. For the Vikings, I mean, we're talking Justin Jefferson again. Like, I mean, you said it. He's going to be better than with Carson Wentz than he was with JJ McCarthy, and that has
Yeah.
definitely been true. 7 catches, 123 yards. For the Browns, David Njoku, been waiting for him. I mean, he always has his handful of good games every year, 67 yards and a touchdown, but it's going to be Quinshon Judkins, the main source of offense for Cleveland. 110 yards on the ground. He's been super, super good. He had 23 attempts in this one, so there's been no question on who the starting running back has been. I know we had a committee here with Sampson and Jerome Ford maybe going into the year wondering what would happen, but no, Quinshon Judkins is the guy
Yep.
for Cleveland. Um, well, it looks like Dylan Gabriel is the guy for Cleveland as well, considering Joe Flacco is gone now. So it's going to be him and Shador Sanders as the backup. So that's interesting.
I'll
But
say this.
uh,
I'll say this about
yeah,
Dylan Gabriel. He, you look at the stat line, it's not terrible. But watching the game, he missed a lot of throws. There were times where
yeah,
he overthrew his wide receiver by probably 10 feet. It wasn't the best look for a rookie quarterback coming out and playing. Now, again, you're going to say he's a rookie, and he is, right? But I would not be surprised if, Dylan Gabriel gets the nod for the next, what, 5, 6 weeks. And then if they haven't won, give Shador a shot, right?
please
You,
do.
I don't see a world where Shador does not see a single start this year. I don't see it,
Oh, I
right?
don't either.
Because,
Well,
well, not, I mean, Dylan Gabriel, the only way that Shador Sanders does not start a game is if Dylan Gabriel leads this team to the playoffs, which I do not see happening.
no, no. Yeah, no, I think we both know that that's what should happen. But is that what will happen? The Browns have a problem with Shador Sanders. Like it's very clear
That's
because we both think he's a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel and deserves to be ahead of him in the depth chart.
Yeah,
So,
and that's coming from an Oregon fan.
exactly. Exactly. Um it's a whole mess. But now, I mean, Joe Flacco's gone, so it is their team. Like it is their team.
Deshaun Watson still there?
So, well, that's that's a problem for a later week, I think. Brown's situation is very interesting. For the Vikings though, it's this is a game they had to win. It didn't look like they were going to for a while. They
No.
were a little bit lackluster, offensively, especially. But the
Jordan
Browns
Addison
defense is
didn't
good.
play
Yeah,
to
Jordan
start the game
Addison.
because he missed his team's walkthrough. What are you doing in London that
Yeah,
you're missing your team's walkthrough?
ugh,
God, that's bad.
God only knows.
He came
But
through with
Jordan Addison did.
the
He
game-winning
made
touchdown.
the game winning play. Yeah. So, but he was pretty non-existent for the whole game until the last drive.
Well, they
So
came out and said he didn't play in the first. I think it was the first quarter. Like
first quarter, yeah.
they sat him out. So
It's what these players and they're getting sit for disciplinary reasons, man. That's not good. We don't want that.
no,
But yeah,
not good for the
it's a
sport.
good win for the Vikings. I'm not sold on the Vikings because of this win. They're playing a bad team, but we'll see. What do you think is going to happen when JJ McCarthy returns?
Who do they? I don't have it off the top of my head. Who do they play after their bye? That's my question.
So they're on a bye this week.
Yep, they're on a bye coming up. Let's see.
I
I
can
don't
look
have
that
those
up
off
real
my
quick.
head.
So their next game is against Philly.
Yeah, and JJ McCarthy, I'd imagine, is in that game.
You would think so.
I mean, the
Okay.
initial reports were that JJ McCarthy was coming back after the bye,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
I mean, they could start Carson Wentz because of the Eagles, and say maybe you remember some stuff, but like, I don't think that's much of a factor. I think if McCarthy's healthy, they're going to go with McCarthy. And I don't think there's any if he's healthy for that game, I think they start him in that game because there's really no point in waiting for an easier matchup because you got the Chargers Lions next. There's not really like an
yeah.
easier game there. I think McCarthy comes back and he starts week 6. That's what my thought is right now. And I think the team's going to look similar to how it looked before
But is
Carson Wentz,
McCarthy a better start than Carson Wentz? Is what I'm asking you. Is that a good decision? Because I know they said that McCarthy's the guy, and when he's healthy, he's
In
going to play.
in the short term, no. I genuinely believe Carson Wentz is still going to be better than JJ McCarthy for like the next 3 weeks JJ McCarthy plays. But I think the only way to have JJ McCarthy get better than Carson Wentz is by having him go through those next 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Like
no,
if he's just
I
sitting
agree.
behind Carson Wentz, JJ McCarthy's not getting any better.
You're right.
I think he
You're right.
needs to settle in, get a victory. I know he got one earlier and he didn't look good after that, but you need to get some positive games back to back to get yourself to calm down and believe in yourself. Because I think that's the biggest thing for him is he struggled so far this year, and now then he got hurt. 2 injuries to start his career, not ideal,
Yeah,
right? So he's got to believe in himself. And I think that only comes from playing in these big games where if you go out there and you beat one of the Eagles, Chargers, or Lions, right? I think you're feeling a lot better about JJ McCarthy. So
yeah. Chargers, man, they look bad.
I
They
know,
can that's a good game for them. Um, yeah. So like I said, I'm not going to be high on the Vikings at all this year. I can tell you that unless they do something,
never are.
unless they do something crazy. But they're just
Without fail, Vinny will pick against the Vikings every week,
well. I mean, I didn't this week. I picked the Vikings, but
which is
although
shocking.
I was very close because this game had Browns win written all over it, in my opinion, and it should have. That's what it should have been, but that's not what happened. But anyway, um, definitely, not the most exciting of morning games, but it wasn't bad. It was close. That's all you could ask for. We move on to a game that wasn't exciting at all. We go to MetLife Stadium here. The Jets and the Cowboys. One that we looked at, before the games this week. We're like, oh, this could be interesting. All right, maybe the Jets could pull it off. Like someone believed, not me, but someone
Okay,
out of the two of us believed
hear
this.
me out. Hear me out. I saw the news. All right, well, let's backtrack first. Jets last week, right?
Right.
They were in a very close game. Cowboys look bad. For me, it was like the Jets, like their offense looks good, and they're going to play the Dallas Cowboys, who have the worst defense in the NFL, basically, besides the Bengals, right? And then I heard that the Cowboys are without 4 of their starting offensive linemen. And I said, okay, like this game's going to be even closer now, right? And give the nod
No.
to Justin Fields and his rushing ability. Well, I'll say it now before we talk about it. I was wrong, and that pick will haunt me. Okay, but I was
Uh,
wrong. So, anyways, continue. Please continue.
I'm not gonna be the one to make fun of anyone for picking wrong because I'm doing a very bad job in the picks. I'm in last place for you guys who didn't know. Um, yeah, but the Cowboys they take care of business. They went 37-22. If I told you that Justin Fields threw for 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, did not turn the ball over, did not throw a pick, you would not think that the Jets lose this game.
Oh,
But that's been the case every week. Justin Fields is putting up good stat lines pretty much every single week, including last week against the
because they're
Dolphins.
playing from behind though.
They're playing exactly. They're playing from behind. Just nothing working for New York. And their defense, which we said it all of last year, is so supposed to be so good on paper. It just has not. This is why we burn the paper. It's just not really good at all. Dak Prescott threw for 4 passing touchdowns. Ryan Florney. Okay. Never heard of that guy before today. I'm going to be so honest with you. Never heard of, well, before Sunday. Never heard of that guy. 6 receptions, 114 yards. I mean, what are we doing? No CD, obviously. George Pickens, he had a big play, but he wasn't really that much of a factor other than that. Devontae Williams has been so good. So good this year. 135 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
Yep.
Jake Ferguson, another 7 catches. I mean, the Cowboys, their offense has been so electric this year. I'm not even gonna lie. Just they could outscore most teams in the NFL. They could win. They could make a push. I think the Cowboys could make a run at the playoffs. I really do.
I
That's
mean,
my take.
I don't. We've talked about this all year long so far. There's not a dominant team, right? There's no dominant team. Like
No.
everyone's had a close game with someone, right? So
Right.
the wild card is up for whoever wants it. It's there. It's
Yeah.
there for the taking. So a team like the Cowboys, if they're going to go out there and score 40 points every single week, they're going to get there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely doable.
I mean, I'm looking at the NFC. I see the Eagles struggling. I see the Rams. They got knocked off. It's. I think the Lions are back to that best team in the NFC conversation again. They could lose. You never know. Maybe next week will be the week the Lions have a bad loss. So, yeah, the Cowboys are they're exceeding my expectations this year for sure. And as for the Jets, I mean, they're now 0-5. They're the only team without a win. We mentioned there's no teams that are undefeated, but now the Jets are the only defeated team, and definitely left a lot of wins on the table
Yep,
this year for sure. They
100%.
could have definitely beat the Dolphins. The Steelers in week 1, they definitely could have beat them. So unfortunate for the Jets. We knew that they weren't going to have a great year, but we thought it was going to be a little better than this. So you know, they're 0-5. When you're 0-5, you start thinking about that draft and next year. Unfortunately, so we will move on to an absolute crazy ending in this game that I was not expecting at all.
Yeah. I mean, the Dolphins and the Panthers here, and a pretty, what kind of seems like an evenly matched game, right? Both teams struggling this year. Both quarterbacks having a rough go at it. Dolphins, of course, lose Tyreek Hill last week. So Dolphins and the Panthers. Panthers win this one 27-24. And the main guy you can thank for that is Rico Dowdle, a former Cowboys running back. He had 23 carries for 206 rushing yards and a touchdown. Also had 28 receiving yards. This man went for over 230 scrimmage yards with Chuba Hubbard out of this game. I mean, that is a
Yeah,
legacy performance for Rico Dowdle. And if
unbelievable.
anything, he earned himself a lot more playing time when Chuba comes back because this guy
Yeah,
cannot be taken off the field after a performance like that. Hetero McMillan, six catches for 73 yards. Again, he's getting catches, not finding the end zone, nothing crazy. He's just doing, the same thing every week. That's basically been his stat line every week of the season so far. Bryce Young, 19 of 30, 198 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, he also had a fumble early on in the game, so it was a really rough start for him. He kind of turned it around, and that was largely in part to the run game being as good as it was. For the Dolphins, Tua 27 to 36, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. This was the first time the Dolphins offense looked like the Dolphins offense, and they still lost.
yeah,
We
yeah,
saw a big play to Jalen Waddle. We saw Darren Waller, who's now
yeah,
back into his second game of the year. He had a big game, 5 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. I mentioned Waddle. He had 6 for 110 and a touchdown. So they had the passing attack. It was there, right? But then
mhm,
you look at the rushing stats. Devon Achane had 16 rushing yards on 10 carries. That is pitiful. That is embarrassing. That is pathetic. Okay, you
yeah.
cannot do that. You're not
No,
winning football games like that. You
no,
need balance, and this has been a theme of the Dolphins with Devon Achane. They don't run the ball. He's going to get his receptions out of the backfield. He got a touchdown in the receiving game. When you run the ball for 16 yards on 10 carries for Devon Achane, I mean, you're
yeah.
you're not winning this football game,
I
especially
don't quite understand. I don't quite
no,
understand how you
it
do that.
it doesn't make sense. Terrible
Got
efficiency.
120 yards in the ground last week
I know it,
or something like that.
and I understand. Maybe you got Derek Brown for the Panthers, right? Cool, but this is one of the worst defenses in the NFL you're going up against.
Yeah.
So,
uh,
it's disappointing, but Panthers win 27-24. Vinny, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it also okay. It doesn't help that Carolina looked horrible to start this game. This was Miami. It was their game to blow. They blew it pretty bad. And I mean, yeah, are we going to see a performance like Rico Dowdle like this ever again? I mean, no, I'm probably not. So maybe the Dolphins to get a
Never
bit
say never.
unlucky here. No, I'm sorry. No, hey, you guys know I like Rico Dowdle, man. I think he's a cool guy, but I mean, the Dolphins need to learn how to play a lick of defense maybe
I
first,
like
because that's an embarrassing a lick, yeah, just a little bit. That's what that means. Embarrassing performance for them. I mean, McDaniel, you gotta fire that guy. I mean, you have to. I mean, he's got to be the first coach fired. You know,
you
like
don't think
I was between him and
Brian
Brian
Callahan
Callahan.
I mean, we'll talk about Titans in a second, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be close between those guys on who's gonna be fired first, but something's not right with Miami. Their only win of the year is against the Jets, who are 0-5. So
and it was a close
that
game.
it was very close. So yeah, the AFC East is looking like it's gonna be a two-horse race the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there, but why don't we move along to the last game that we have in the best of the rest category? And it's between, it's another crazy game between two teams that have been
Yeah.
mediocre this year. Well, the Titans have been bad. Cardinals have been mediocre. It's the Titans and the Cardinals. And the Titans, against all odds, get the
Oh man,
victory 22 to
all odds.
21 in what may be the craziest, sequence that I've ever seen in a game that happened here to give
Just
the Titans the win.
ridiculous.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, Titans did not deserve to win this game. Cardinals were up 21-6. Amari DeMarcado, okay, we know James Conner, right? He's out for the year. Trey Benson goes to IR. He's out 4 weeks. It was Michael Carter, who was kind of the main lead back. He had 18 carries, 51 rushing yards, a touchdown, and then also had 5 catches in this game. So he was the guy for the Cardinals on the ground. But then Amari DeMarcado, who a lot of people also thought would be heavily involved, he broke one loose. 71
Mhm.
yard rush. Should have been a touchdown, a walk in touchdown, but he starts slowing down at the 5 yard line. A defender comes up right behind him, and it was kind of like half and half between him dropping the ball and the guy punching it out. It was like it didn't look like it was completely him throwing it, but he did motion like he was going to let it go. But nonetheless, the ball was out of his hand before he crossed the plane. Touchdown did not count. Ball went out of the back of the end zone or a touchback. So instead of it being 28-6, game over, wrap it up, it's 21-6. Titans have the ball, and guess what they do? They go down the field and they score. All right, so now
Yeah.
it's a 21-14 game. I think they went for two and they got it. And so I don't know exactly what it was, but they went down the field, they scored, and then later, like the next drive, Tennessee's driving again, and this time they're trying to tie or take the lead, whatever the situation was. And Cam Ward rolls out to his left. He tries to throw it. He had an open man, but a great play by the defender tips it up in the air. Like that's picked off. Cardinals fans are going crazy. They're celebrating. Game over, right? We got the pick.
Yep.
And he's running
Yep.
around like an idiot, falls to the ground and fumbles without getting touched. And Titans, they're trying to get it. It's kicked around. Somehow the ball ends up in the end zone, and Tyler Lockett falls on it for a touchdown. So an interception thrown by Cam Ward leads to a fumble by the Arizona Cardinals defender, leads to a Tyler Lockett touchdown in the end zone, and the Titans win.
You can't take anything away from this game.
No, you can't. But this is just bizarre. Okay, Cam Ward, 21 of 39, 265 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tony Pollard had 14 carries, 67 yards, a touchdown, did fumble. Calvin Ridley, about time. Okay, he had 5 catches for 131 yards. He's here. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals, 23 of 31, 220 yards, did have a rushing touchdown. I mentioned Michael Carter. Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride did their typical thing, right? They're getting a couple catches for some good yardage. But the Cardinals should have won this game, and that's the fact of the matter. I'm happy, for the Titans that they got to win, but you don't even want to win like this sometimes. Like I understand it's a win, you're going to be happy about it. Like really, that's how you win the game. Like if I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm not doing too good.
No, no, not that. I mean, Arizona started the season, pretty optimistic. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
not looking great by any means, but looking like they could be at least competitive. They have the game against Seattle on Thursday night where they almost come back and win. Like the game against the Niners, which you're close in. And this is a freebie. This is a layup. I mean, you're playing a team that has looked like they wouldn't even compete in Division One NCAA.
Yeah.
Like this is a team where I would throw Penn State out there and it would be competitive. Like that's and you implode so bad. Literally just self-inflicted wounds. The Titans did not play outstanding football. They
Yeah.
they played better than they have been. I mean, you're finally getting Calvin Ridley some catches. Good. Cam Ward throws almost, 250 yards. Good. All good stuff. But first of all, I I hate when players do this when they drop the ball. Why?
Yeah.
How do you not make sure as an NFL player, a guy you've been playing football all your life?
You've seen it
How do you
happen.
not You've seen it happen at the NFL level multiple times. How do you not make sure you are in the end zone before you do something dumb like that?
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating, and especially for a a third string running back who has an opportunity to win the job for the next couple weeks and potentially beyond that. You break loose for a touchdown, and most likely, if you get in the end zone there, you are in consideration for a bulk of the work, if not at least a split. You know, you do that, he's probably not going to see much work now. So
No.
that's
Yeah.
annoying. That was my rant about that. And then, I mean, that just chaos with the interception fumble. Like, my goodness, this is just an ugly game between two bad teams. And yeah, the Cardinals are a bad team. I'm saying it. They are. Okay. I didn't think that before. This is just unacceptable. Unacceptable loss. Good for the Titans for getting a win. Yeah, they still suck. They're still bad. Okay. This is a bad football game, bad teams, and just an absolutely unprecedented and crazy outcome.
And shout
All I
out
gotta say.
to Nick Folk because he's had a rough year
Yeah.
so far kicking,
Well,
and he goes out there
yeah.
and gets the game-winning field goal for the Titans. So shout out him after he missed an extra point badly earlier
Yeah.
in the game, and then he goes out and kicks the game-winning field goal from basically the exact same spot. So props to him. I thought he missed it at first, but it
Yeah.
did sneak inside the right upright. So
Patriots legend.
Patriots led. That's gonna wrap up our best of the rest segment, and you know what that means. All right.
Yeah.
Normally it's time for the quick six, but because there's teams on bye, we only have 14 games. There are a lot of good ones. It's gonna be the fast five today.
Fast
Okay.
five.
Fast five,
Fast
Vinny.
five.
So you have three games. I have
I
two.
have the bulk of the work.
You
I
have the
have the
bulk of
bulk
the
of the
work.
work
Are
here.
you ready? You
Yep.
think you can handle it?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
we have
Vinny.
a committee here. I'm taking the bulk of the work, 60-40 split. I'm
All
ready.
right,
Let's
Vinny.
do it.
Let's kick off the fast five. Here we go.
Okay. So starting off, Raiders and the Colts. Okay, the Colts have been dominant all year. They continue to be dominant. They win 40-6 over Las Vegas, who have just been so disappointing. Daniel Jones didn't even have to do too much in this game. Throws for 212 yards, 20 for 29, two touchdowns, and Jonathan Taylor has just been a magnet to the end zone all year. Three rushing touchdowns for Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in football. Geno Smith, we thought he'd go to the Raiders and create some stability and give them a chance to be competitive. It has been just the opposite. He has been so bad, arguably the bottom three quarterback in the NFL
Yep.
this year. He throws another two interceptions. I think he's thrown 9 in 5 weeks,
Yeah,
which is
ridiculous.
just horrible, a horrible stat line there. The Colts played so well that Anthony Richardson got in the game. My guy. That not he relieves Daniel Jones late in the fourth quarter and gets a little bit of work there. So the Colts win 40-6. Moving on to Baltimore, the Texans and the Ravens facing off in what should have been a pretty competitive game going into the year, but obviously a huge injury to Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson changes things a little bit, and an injury to pretty much everyone else relevant on their team, especially on the defensive
Yep.
side. The Texans win 44-10. Definitely the best the Houston offense has looked in quite a long time. Obviously, credit that to a lot of the defensive injuries for the Ravens, and they've just been bad in general. But CJ Stroud throws for 4 passing touchdowns, 244 yards through the air. Everyone was getting involved. Um, we got Woody Marks getting involved again. Nico Collins gets in the end zone. A few of their other rookie wide receivers doing well. Then Cooper Rush, who has filled in for Lamar Jackson, just continues to be pretty bad. I mean, 3 interceptions, couldn't get anything going for Baltimore. So definitely some interesting discussions going on for the Ravens. Maybe we hit the panic button, but for the Texans, they get a little bit lucky with this matchup in a game where I think they would have been overmatched if everyone was healthy for sure. But they win 44-10, move to 2-3. And then finally, the Lions and the Bengals. The initial America's Game of the Week, I'm pretty sure that was changed
Yeah,
to the Commanders and Chargers, but the
good move.
Lions yeah, a good move for sure. The Lions win this one 37-24. We know the story with Cincinnati by now. They are pretty bad without Joe Burrow. But Jared Goff for the Lions, he again super efficient, 19 for 23, 3 touchdowns, 258 yards, carves up the Bengals defense as everyone else seems to be able to do. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 100 yards through the air. So a great performance for the Lions. And then Jake Browning, it's just a weird stat line for him. 3 touchdowns, all in garbage time. He threw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins both getting involved pretty well there for the Bengals, but he also threw 3 picks, and this game was not competitive. Um, and despite the score being somewhat close, being 13-point game, definitely not competitive as it seemed. So
Yep.
those are my 3 games. We need some hot takes or
I got some good
takeaways,
ones. I got some
and
good
he's got
ones.
some good. He's ready to go. All right, let's hear him.
All right, Raiders Colts. Geno Smith is benched for Kenny Pickett. Don't think that's the craziest thing of all time. Um,
No, nope, I like
Texans
that.
Ravens. Don't panic on Baltimore. Lamar is going to come back at some point. Defense is going to get healthier. They have a very favorable schedule, and I think they can still run the table in the AFC North. Ravens still make the playoffs. Lions and Bengals.
Ooh.
This is the big one, which I don't like. Bengals go into they face Green Bay and they win. Joe Flacco has done it once already this year, and Joe Flacco does it again against the Packers.
What? Oh my gosh.
I don't want it to
Okay,
happen. But it's hot takes for a reason. Joe Flacco already beat the Packers once, and now he's got a much better team around him, especially on
that would
offense.
be utterly shocking if that were the case. But it can happen.
I'm
Um,
setting myself up in a win-win situation because if the Packers win, I'm happy, and if
right,
this
right.
this hot take happens, then I'm happy. Well, I'm not happy, but I'm
You're
right.
slightly happy. Okay, I agree with the Raiders. I agree with Kenny Pickett. I mean, you have to do something at this point. Geno Smith's been so bad. For the Ravens, I actually disagree because Lamar Jackson isn't the only injured player on this team.
Yeah, I said that. Hey,
And
I
yeah,
said
I
the
know.
defense is gonna get healthy too.
I listen. I think at this point, I think the Ravens have a better chance of having a top 10 draft pick than making the playoffs.
That's
That's just
bizarre.
my opinion.
All right, hey, hot
That's,
takes are fun for a reason.
they are. And then if Joe Flacco goes in and beats the Packers next week, I will be utterly shocked. But at the end of the day, he Joe Flacco is known for doing some crazy stuff like that every once in a while. So that would be fun. That would be fun. Not for you, but definitely interesting. So thank you for your hot takes there. Those were definitely those were hot. Those were hot. All right, you have 2 games here.
All right.
So why don't you run us through those real
Let's
quick?
get into it. Starting off with the Giants and the Saints. Saints get the win. Let's go. 26-14. Giants look terrible. Spencer Rattler, 21 of 31, 225 passing yards and a touchdown. Looks good. Looks good. Shaheed, right? The speedster, the fastest mile an hour mark for a player so far this year on a touchdown. 4 catches, 114 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Dart, man, threw the ball 40 times in this one. Completed 26 passes, 202 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Also had 55 rushing yards and a fumble. So 3 turnovers from Jackson Dart. Not one, not two, but 3. Okay. Not what you want if you're the New York Giants. Russell Wilson didn't do that. Okay? He didn't do that.
Yeah.
So Jackson Dart's got to get together there. Scatabo, over 100 scrimmage yards. Did fumble though, but over 100 scrimmage yards. He was really mad about the fumble. Crazy clip of him on the sideline begging for new gloves. I don't think it was the gloves, but it's okay. Then Theo Johnson gets both touchdowns in the game for the Giants. Kind of weird. Out of nowhere, the tight end, Theo Johnson, bang, 2 touchdowns, cool. Giants, 5 total turnovers in this game, and it costs them the game, I think. They lose by 2 scores. You can't turn the ball over 5 times and expect to win, even against the Saints. It's just not going to happen. We move on to the Commanders and the Chargers. You mentioned it. Game of the week. Commanders win this one 27-10 in a pretty big upset, I'd say. I think a lot of people were on the Chargers in this game. Maybe not like talent wise, it was an upset, but from what the people in the country were picking, this was a big upset. Commanders looked just like the better team. Jaden Daniels, 15 of 26, 231 passing yards, and a touchdown in his first game back from injury. Bill, Krosky Merritt's here, baby. He's here. He's
Mm,
finally here.
I guess
14
so.
carries, 111 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Um, and he also had 2 catches for 39 yards. McNichols and Rodriguez combined for only 6 carries. All right. We've seen much bigger splits than that the entire season. So I think JCM's season is finally here. Debo Samuel. Okay. No Terry McLaurin, no Noah Brown. He's been the guy. 8 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. And for the Chargers, just a disappointing week. I'll start off by saying Amari Hampton, the rookie running back, gets injured. He's going to be placed on IR with an ankle injury. But Herbert, he tries to do what he can without him. 22 for 29, 166 yards, 1 touchdown, did throw an interception. And because of that Hampton injury, Herbert actually led the team in rushing yards with 60. And then Lad McConkey out of that wide receiver trio we've got there, he gets the touchdown this week. So, but yeah, Commanders win it in pretty convincing fashion. Chargers had a chance. Herbert tried to squeeze one into Keenan Allen, and it was just picked off, and that was kind of what wrapped up the game there. But this game brought back some bad memories. I'm an Oregon Ducks fan. Okay, so Justin Herbert was there at Oregon. 2019, Jaden Daniels was a freshman at Arizona State. At the time, Oregon was ranked number 6 in the country. Okay, they were 9-2. Arizona State comes into town. And this freshman out of nowhere, Jaden Daniels upsets the veteran Justin Herbert and the 6th-ranked Oregon Ducks. Um, and again, on the big stage, Jane Daniels gets it done over Justin Herbert. So maybe this is just someone Justin Herbert is never going to be able to beat. But overall, Commanders with Jane Daniels back, they got to win. They look good. Hopefully, Hampton can come back healthy in 4 weeks. Are we concerned about the Chargers? Before we get into your
Yes.
hot takes, we're concerned.
Yes. Concerned about the Chargers, and one of my hot takes is about that. So we'll
All right, well, let's get into the
we'll
hot
say
takes,
that.
starting with the Giants and the Saints.
So I actually have a hot take for all four of these teams.
Okay, let's
Okay.
hear it.
Number one, the Giants win this game if Russell Wilson's the starting quarterback. That's my
Love it.
hot take for the
Love
Giants.
it.
Okay.
Love
Jackson
it.
Dart he's very unpredictable. Okay. I think he's very flashy. He's gonna go out there, have some great games and do some great things, but he's also, I mean, you're losing to the Saints. Okay. You turn the ball over 3 times. Not good. And for the Saints, I think my hot take is Spencer Rattler is a top 25 quarterback in the NFL. That doesn't seem like a crazy hot take, but he was looked as the clear worst quarterback in the NFL. Looking at his stats, taking care of the football, he has 6 touchdowns to 1 pick. He's thrown roughly 210, 220 yards every game. Serviceable.
And he
Done. I
runs
think
it
he's
too.
done a good job. And he runs. I think he's done a good job this
Yeah.
year, and I don't think it's crazy to say that he's not a bottom 7 quarterback in the NFL. So
No.
those are my hot takes for those games.
All right.
Commanders and Chargers. Not a crazy hot take, but I think for the Commanders, I'm going to say Debo is the wide receiver one when Terry McLaurin comes back.
Okay.
He's been just very dynamic. He's looked like his old self. He's been just good. He's been good piece, good pickup for the Commanders this
Yep.
offseason. And for the Chargers, this is probably my hottest take. So in the NFL since 2020, teams that start 3-0 have an 86% chance to make the playoffs. My hot take is that the Chargers will not make the playoffs this
Love
year.
that.
They have just really been very underwhelming the past 2 weeks. I mean, not only last week, I mean, losing to the Giants, but this week getting blown out by a team that I think they still should beat. And,
Yeah.
I think they're
With
slightly
how they've
better
been
than,
playing, yeah.
yeah, than the Commanders. So, I mean, very disappointing performance. Now you have Amari and Hampton on the IR. That's not good at all. Their run game has a lot of question marks. So, yeah, those are my four. Those are my four.
I think those are all pretty fair, to be honest. I mean, hot takes, they're hot, and yours are hot, but they're
Hot, hot.
also kind of realistic, right? So that's the fun thing about these is we're trying this segment, especially we're trying to find hot takes that have a decent chance of happening. So I
Yeah.
think we did pretty good there with this segment today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that wraps up the slate for week number 5. Definitely an interesting one. Definitely some upsets, some surprises, as every week seems to bring. Before we sign off today, obviously we got to take a look at the Pick-Em standings. And Connor, again, a really really good week. Well, I mean, not even that good of a
No one
week,
did good
but I
this
mean,
week.
no one good. So
Under
actually,
500. Everyone was under 500.
the best. Yeah, actually, that's crazy. The best week
Was at 500
was
actually.
7-7. The best week was 7-7. So Um, Connor stays in first place. He's 52-25. I'm at 45-32. So a whole 7 games back. I went 6-8
6
this
and 8.
week.
Yeah, same.
Everyone was between 5 and 7 picks right this week. So it was, I mean, obviously just a very, very unpredictable week. But Connor is still in first place.
Yes.
Uh, Your dad gets the best tied for the best
Yeah.
week this week with 7-7, and so is my good pal Jack Patterson. Jack Patterson, if you're listening, still not a great week. Don't let that go to your head too much, but it's you still get tied for the best week. So still very competitive. It's only 7 games difference between first place and last place, which are us. So I gotta start doing a little bit better. But yeah, still have a lot of time. Still a
A
lot of
lot of
football to
time
be
left.
played.
Only 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Only 5
Maybe
weeks
I have
in,
to
man.
pick the Giants. Maybe I have to pick the Giants on Thursday. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I know someone who will. We'll get a free win over him, at least.
Who?
So, not Jaden. I feel like Jaden will pick the Giants.
No.
I feel like he might.
He's a realistic fan. He
Uh,
doesn't pick the Giants in those
I
games.
don't think it's that crazy to say the Giants could win, though.
I don't think it is
I
either.
really
I
don't.
think I mean, that would be awesome. I would love to see it. I don't think I could do
I
it
wouldn't
though.
even be upset. I wouldn't even be
No,
upset.
I'd be happy.
But
I'd be happy to lose a pick if it meant the Giants beat the Eagles, I think.
I agree. Just two teams I just don't really like. I mean, I would be okay if that was a tie.
I would love that.
I would love a tie in that game because neither of us care for either team. Like
Yeah.
the Eagles, I think we've both found like a new like hatred for them this year just because of how they operate.
Yeah.
Eagles are not a team I disliked in the past. This year, I just really don't like them at all. But
All right.
anyway, let's wrap this thing up. Make sure to give us a follow, guys, on Instagram, TikTok, and hit the subscribe button on YouTube or Spotify, whatever you're watching on today or listening to. We appreciate you listening here to the end, and another week of NFL football. Fun to recap it with you guys. And yeah, we Connor, any last words? Any last thoughts? Are we ready? Ready for Thursday?
I'm excited for Thursday. I think it's gonna be a good game.
I'm
I think
excited.
this slate coming up can be good. Some good matchups on the slate.
Yeah.
So look forward to it. Teams on bye are Vikings. That's all I got off the top of my head.
Oh man, you jumped into that one without knowing.
Yeah,
I know the Vikings
that's a mistake.
and the Texans. The Texans.
Just 2 teams this
I think
week.
it's just them. I'm thinking it's just them. Vikings and Texans. That's
All right.
as far as I know.
Yeah, Vikings and Texans. All right. Well, there you
Yeah.
have it.
Okay. That's gonna wrap it up. We thank you guys for listening once again. Again, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed, and we will talk to you again soon.